I protect myself. I don't just sit in the house with the television on.
In making memories, literally. You know, Stem and I were sitting out on the back porch the other day having breakfast.
Your dream tournament is now a reality and you've experienced it a few days. What's it like? How has it been run?
How do you think it is going? OPRAH has been completely dismantled. The devastating 8-word response from Alex Eala is currently shattering every corner of the internet. Go ahead and grab your popcorn, tennis enthusiasts, because the drama we are serving today is absolutely steaming, involving a rivalry that absolutely no one predicted. Welcome back to the Champions Tennis Channel. We are your premier destination for every single thing happening both on and off the court. Today, we are taking a deep dive into a headline that has fractured social media. It has polarized entire generations and left the sports and entertainment worlds completely stunned and breathless. We are witnessing the ultimate collision of two massive cultural icons. In one corner, we have the undisputed sovereign of the media world, a billionaire mogul who has dictated global conversations for decades, Oprah Winfrey. In the opposite corner, we find the ascending crown princess of Philippine tennis. She is a Generation Z titan whose fierce baseline strategy is currently matched only by her massive and undeniable presence on social media. Alex Eala. One would assume these two phenomenal women would be supporting each other in a high-stakes interview centered on the power of female empowerment. But that is not the case. Instead, they are currently embroiled in one of the most ruthless, public, and deeply personal conflicts of interest we have ever seen in the history of modern pop culture. It all reached a boiling point with a legendary 8-word mic drop from Alex that has the entire digital world choosing sides. To truly grasp the scale of this massive fallout, we must examine how this unprecedented conflict actually began. Alex Eala has been dominating every major headline recently. Certainly, her tennis skills are world-class. She is a standout student of the Rafael Nadal Academy with a junior Grand Slam history and a work ethic that would put a Spartan warrior to shame. However, her celebrity status has recently surpassed the sport of tennis altogether. She is evolving into a global brand, a fashion trendsetter, and a social media icon. She has become a leading voice for her generation. Every single time she walks onto the court, appears on a red carpet, or shares a post online, millions of spectators are watching, liking, and circulating her content across the globe. Her tournaments are transforming into massive events, attracting crowds not just for her powerful forehands, but for the magnetic energy she brings to the arena. Arenas that used to be half empty are now selling out in mere hours the second Alex Eala's name is added to the tournament schedule. The sponsors are calling. Major brands are queuing up and magazines are featuring her on their covers. She is no longer just a tennis professional. She has become a movement, and it seems this massive amount of attention did not sit well with everyone in the elite circles. Without any warning, Oprah Winfrey went to social media and released a shocking article aimed directly at the young tennis phenom. The message was written like a heat-seeking missile, designed and launched with absolute surgical precision. Oprah stated that she had been observing Alex Eala take over the news cycle lately. She argued that the reality of the situation is not due to her exceptional skills on the court. The excitement surrounding her stems from her public image, her viral character, and the drama of her success, rather than true mastery. I have dedicated several decades to fostering dialogues that aim to empower and unify humanity across the globe. While she has transformed into a mere icon of distraction, emotional turbulence, and chaos. Headlines that prioritize sensationalism over genuine substance or meaning are problematic because being popular is not the same as creating a lasting legacy. She might be visible everywhere right now, but history commemorates profound depth, not temporary noise. Let us pause for a moment to take a collective breath, because that was a brutal assault. That was a complete assassination of character, delivered by one of the most influential women currently living on this planet. Oprah essentially accused an athlete in her early 20s of choosing celebrity status over sportsmanship, aesthetics over talent, and clout over integrity. For Oprah to step forward and imply that the ascent of Alex is fraudulent is quite a statement. To suggest it is built on emotional instability and diversion, rather than her exhausting hours of practice, is a monumental and shocking accusation. Consider the weight of those words for a moment. Alex Eala departed from her home in the Philippines while still a teenager. She traveled across the world to enroll at the prestigious Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain and initiated the grueling, solitary, and financially precarious path of professional tennis. She faced defeat in matches. She suffered through injuries. She wept on tennis courts thousands of miles away from her family. She fought her way through the International Tennis Federation circuit and struggled through grueling qualifying rounds. She earned every single ranking point through her own hard work and perseverance. Yet Oprah dismissed all of that effort as mere noise. The internet erupted instantly, resembling a digital server that had just been hit by a billion simultaneous requests. Fan bases collided on every social platform. Opinion pieces were published at a rapid pace. Sports analysts shared their perspectives. Entertainment experts offered their views. Former professional athletes took distinct sides. Everyone waited with intense anticipation to see if the public relations team for Alex would release a standard, diluted corporate statement designed to avoid conflict with the media giant. History is filled with accounts of young athletes who have crumbled. Many have collapsed under the weight of powerful detractors, quietly releasing statements drafted by attorneys and agents that stripped away all the passion and truth from the situation. However, if you possess any knowledge regarding Alex Eala and her character, you would know better. If you have witnessed her compete through intense tie-breaks in major tournaments or endure 3-set battles in oppressive heat, you know she never retreats from a challenge. Whether she is reacting to a serve traveling at over 100 miles per hour or navigating the subtle insults of a billionaire, her internal process remains exactly the same. She takes a stand, focuses her mind, and delivers a powerful response. Alex did not wait for her agents to compose a safe or neutral reply. She did not take time to sleep on the matter. She did not seek guidance from a publicist or filter her thoughts through a board of corporate managers. She responded immediately, utilizing her own social media platforms to provide a masterclass in defending her integrity with elegance, intelligence, and lethal emotional accuracy. Her reaction was unfiltered, passionate, and struck directly at the heart of the matter. Alex stated that she has never pursued celebrity status. She has only attempted to share her journey with integrity and assist those who originate from the same difficult circumstances she faced. Any public attention she receives is not the result of creating chaos. It is the culmination of years of hardship, dedication, community involvement, and genuine individuals who recognize their own struggles within her story. While your focus remained on motivating large audiences, my focus was on preserving dreams, supporting the vulnerable, and demonstrating that success is attainable regardless of your origin. Ma'am, being seen by the world is not a transgression. It is the natural result of speaking from your scars and transforming your pain into a mission. Simply incredible. Let us analyze the sheer brilliance and emotional weight of the defense Alex presented here, as it highlights a massive generational and cultural chasm. Oprah established her vast empire in a time when media was strictly curated, polished, and managed from the top down by gatekeepers. You practically had to be invited to sit on a specific couch to have a voice or share your perspective. A publicist was required to pitch your story to a producer, and an executive had to grant permission for your narrative to be heard. Oprah herself served as the ultimate gatekeeper and validator, the one person who determined which stories possessed merit and which did not. However, Alex Eala represents a completely new era of athletes who have entirely democratized their own personal narratives. There is no couch required, no publicist necessary, and no television studio needed to reach the masses. She simply points a smartphone camera at her own face, speaks directly from her soul, shares it with millions, and the global audience reacts instantly. When Alex discusses emerging from difficult environments and focusing on preserving dreams, she is not merely using empty platitudes. This is a young woman who shoulders the athletic aspirations of an entire developing nation every time she steps onto the court. They document their exhaustion and burnout, sharing their passions outside of tennis and their commitment to community activism. They express their vulnerability on camera and refuse to apologize for being human or showing their emotions. For Alex, utilizing her viral influence to fund local tennis programs in the Philippines or to advocate for marginalized youth is not a diversion. It is the fundamental reason she chooses to play the game of tennis in the first place. Her message of turning pain into purpose struck such a deep chord with her millions of supporters that the hashtag #PainIntoPurpose trended globally. This movement completely took over the conversation Oprah had attempted to initiate, rewriting the story entirely on the terms set by Alex. But the absolute pinnacle of this dramatic weekend, the ultimate highlight that sent shockwaves through the stratosphere, the single moment that ensured this rivalry would have a permanent spot in the Pop Culture Hall of Fame, was the concluding sentence of her response. After providing an eloquent, passionate, and emotionally powerful defense of her personal journey, Alex did not leave the matter open for further discussion or debate. She did not conclude with a question mark or offer a polite gesture of peace. She closed the chapter with a message of exactly 8 words that was so lethal, so perfectly designed, and so undeniably sharp in its directness. It instantly accumulated millions of likes and retweets while gaining massive support from fans and fellow athletes across every digital platform. The 8 words that effectively broke the internet were as follows: "My legacy is built on courts, not couches." Boom! The sound you just heard was the collective intake of breath from 7 continents reacting at the exact same moment. My legacy is built on courts, not couches. In a mere 8 words, Alex Eala subtly yet effectively emphasized the fundamental distinction between their 2 respective worlds. She reminded the entire world that while Oprah has accumulated immense wealth and influence by discussing the hardships of others from a studio, Alex is currently out there, physically struggling, sweating, and winning on the demanding hard courts of the world. She is fighting for every individual point, every paycheck, and every ounce of respect she has ever earned in her life. It was the ultimate, perfectly measured retort. It was not vulgar, nor was it a tantrum or a desperate outburst from a cornered woman. It was a cold, precise, and confident declaration of her identity as a true warrior within the competitive sporting arena. 8 words. That was all it required. 8 words to shift the narrative so entirely that Oprah's original post now appears out of touch. The aftermath of those 8 words has been nothing short of spectacular to witness as it continues to unfold. Professional tennis players have been prominently supporting Alex's post on social media, showing a quiet yet powerful unity from the locker room. Former Grand Slam champions have also voiced their support for the young star. Many of these legends spent their entire careers fighting the same tired narrative that their marketability somehow diminished their athletic talent. You can easily imagine the current buzz within the professional locker rooms and the whispered conversations occurring before practice sessions. Athletes are showing their screens to one another, laughing and nodding in agreement with a sentiment every young female athlete has felt. This situation is certainly not a new phenomenon, but it is finally being addressed directly by someone with sufficient bravery and influence. Someone with the rhetorical brilliance to ensure that this confrontation cannot be ignored by the mainstream establishment. This conflict introduces a much larger dialogue that has been developing within the tennis world for the past decade. It is a conversation that the traditional establishment has been desperately trying to keep beneath the surface for quite some time. Traditionally, whenever a young, charismatic, and attractive female tennis player gains attention beyond the boundaries of the court, a specific part of the sports establishment attempts to diminish her achievements. The narrative is always identical and recycled through the decades. We witnessed this with Anna Kournikova in the late 1990s, when her massive marketing appeal was weaponized against her constantly. This happened despite the fact that she was a top 10 player and a dominant doubles champion with multiple Grand Slam titles. The media frequently reduced her worth to her physical appearance and used her financial success to claim she was not serious about her sport. We also saw this pattern with Maria Sharapova, who had to relentlessly prove that her competitive grit was legitimate. She had to show that appearing on magazine covers did not negate the numerous trophies she kept on her shelves. Most recently, we saw it with Emma Raducanu, who accomplished the nearly impossible feat of winning the United States Open as a qualifier. She did not drop a single set during 3 rounds of qualifying and 7 rounds of the main tournament draw. It stands as one of the most remarkable sporting achievements in the history of the Women's Tennis Association. Yet, she was relentlessly criticized by the media the moment she signed luxury endorsement deals, as if fashion photography erased her victory. Consider the double standard. If a male tennis player wins a major title and signs a deal the next day, it is praised as business intelligence. However, if a young woman achieves the same, the headlines immediately begin to question her dedication to her professional career. This double standard is both exhausting and pervasive throughout the industry. Oprah's criticism of Alex Eala leaned directly into this same tired and archaic trope, which makes Alex's response even more significant. She did not merely offer a defense for herself, she completely dismantled the validity of the trope itself. What Oprah failed to comprehend is that the traditional playbook for public figures has been completely rewritten for the modern era. Today's professional athletes, especially someone as grounded, fiercely intelligent, and strategically mindful as Alex Eala, refuse to be silenced. They reject the outdated mentality that tells them to simply shut up and play their sport without having a voice in the world. They understand, in a way that previous generations perhaps could not articulate, that building a massive platform is not a betrayal. It is actually a form of career insurance and essential leverage in a volatile industry. It represents the crucial difference between being entirely dependent on tournament prize money and having the financial freedom to choose. This independence allows her to make decisions based on her personal values and well-being rather than out of financial desperation. The massive popularity Alex enjoys is not a distraction from her professional tennis career. It is a vital part of its structure. It serves as the foundation that allows her career to flourish on her own terms while she works to uplift her community. This is a fact she made abundantly clear in her response, and it is something Oprah should have recognized and respected from the start. As we monitor the latest developments in this extraordinary saga, the tension continues to simmer and intensify across the globe. The camp representing Oprah has remained uncharacteristically quiet since that 8-word mic drop was delivered. Perhaps they have realized they severely underestimated the loyalty, ferocity, and sheer volume of the fan base supporting Alex. Or perhaps they are quietly consulting with crisis advisors to determine if any further public response is even possible without backfiring. Meanwhile, Alex Eala has been spotted back on the practice courts, looking completely unbothered by the media storm surrounding her. Sources close to her training camp describe her as incredibly focused, sharp, and hitting her shots with aggressive intent. It appears she is channeling every single ounce of this external noise directly into her racket and her physical preparation. There is a long and honored tradition in professional sports where champions use public controversy as high-octane fuel for their performance. If the historical track record of Alex rising to meet moments of intense pressure is any indication, she is ready. She is likely about to play some of the most spectacular tennis of her entire life in the coming months. Rumors have spread through the tennis community that ticket sales for her upcoming tournaments have skyrocketed since the feud went viral. Tournament promoters are now scrambling to secure prime center court slots for her matches to accommodate the massive audience. They know with absolute certainty that a global audience is waiting to see how she performs under this new level of scrutiny. The world is asking, will the immense pressure from one of the most powerful media personalities in history cause her to crack? Will the weight of this conflict cause her to shrink, lose her timing, or miss the shots she usually makes with ease? Or will she do exactly what champions are born to do, which is to use every obstacle and moment of doubt as fire? Will she turn that fire into a performance that burns hotter and brighter than anything we have seen before? If her mantra of turning pain into purpose tells us anything about her character, I would not bet against her for a second, not for a single point, and certainly not for a single match in the upcoming season. Furthermore, this dramatic and explosive saga provides an incredibly revealing look into the current state of the Women's Tennis Association. The sport of women's tennis is currently in the midst of a profound and historic generational transition. Icons like Serena Williams have stepped away from the court, leaving a legacy so massive and unique that no individual can fill it. Instead, the sport is searching for a new constellation of stars, each bringing a different energy and capturing a unique global audience. Players like Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, and Coco Gauff are carrying the torch brilliantly with their consistent excellence on the court. However, the tour also desperately requires the kind of crossover pop culture magnetism that Eala is currently generating. She is producing interest in quantities that no traditional marketing team could ever manufacture or replicate through standard means. The association needs players who can dominate headlines, sell out massive stadiums, and attract non-tennis fans to the sport. They need someone who can inspire a 16-year-old in Manila or a 13-year-old in Lagos to pick up a racket. By criticizing the spectacle surrounding Alex, OPRAH is arguably attacking the very lifeblood that keeps modern sports growing in this digital era. The professional tennis world does not need its rising stars to be silent, humble, or invisible when they are off the court. It needs them to be exactly what Alex embodies: compelling, authentic, vocal, and connected to communities that media has ignored. In this age of TikTok, Instagram, and fast-paced digital consumption, where attention spans are short and content options are infinite, a player's viral personality is not a distraction from the game. It is actually the sport's greatest asset for the future. It is the primary tool for reaching the next generation of fans, who will sustain the industry for decades to come. Eala is not damaging the reputation of tennis. She is effectively saving it by modernizing its appeal. She is introducing the game to millions of young people across Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America who might have never tuned in. These are individuals who might never have understood why this sport is one of the most mentally and physically demanding pursuits. They are beginning to see the emotional grit required to survive at the highest level of professional competition. Ultimately, this clash between Oprah Winfrey and Eala is about something much deeper than just tennis or media presence. It is not merely about who has the larger social media following or who landed the most devastating verbal blow in the press. It serves as a fundamental cultural moment regarding how we measure impact and success in the modern world. It is about how we judge young women who choose to be visible, loud, complicated, and unapologetically themselves in public. Most critically, it raises the question of who actually possesses the right to decide what a legacy should look like. The legacy of Oprah Winfrey is already cemented in the history books by every reasonable and traditional measure of success. She has done an immeasurable amount of good, shattered unimaginable barriers, and built institutions that will likely outlast all of us. No one with any sense is questioning her monumental achievements or her place in the pantheon of great leaders. But this specific moment demands that we also acknowledge a new truth. Oprah does not have a monopoly on impact. Eala is currently writing her own history, on her own courts, and strictly on her own terms. She is blending the grueling athleticism of a world-class professional with the savvy authenticity of a modern icon. She is a deeply rooted individual who knows exactly where she came from and exactly where she is going in life. If anyone dares to label her as mere background noise, they had better prepare themselves, because 8 words are all she needs to silence the critics. It took just 8 words, a clear conscience, and a decade of relentless grinding on courts spanning from Manila to Madrid and all the way to Melbourne. Those 8 words came from a young woman who abandoned everything familiar to pursue a dream that skeptics claimed was too costly, too grueling, and too improbable for someone of her background. These 8 words have now echoed through high-level boardrooms, professional locker rooms, local classrooms, and family dinner tables across the globe. They have sparked vital conversations about the respect we owe the athletes who carry our collective hopes and the rights we absolutely cannot strip away from them. They serve as a reminder that an athlete's worth is defined by their actions and their journey, not by the opinions of those watching from the sidelines. My legacy is built on courts, not couches. Make sure to remember those 8 words because we will undoubtedly be quoting them for a very long time to come. What an incredible, jaw-dropping, and multi-layered roller coaster this story has proven to be as the drama continues to escalate. The global conversation is still expanding. The sides are being firmly drawn, and the arguments are being passionately debated across every platform and in every language. It is being discussed on every continent where the game is played, and where stories of young women surmounting impossible odds are celebrated. Do you believe Oprah was completely out of line with her public comments regarding the young star? Or do you think she raises a valid point about modern athletes occasionally losing themselves in the performance of celebrity at the expense of genuine substance? Be honest with yourself right now. Is the 8-word comeback from Eala the single greatest athlete retort we have collectively witnessed this entire decade? I absolutely need to hear your perspective on this epic and historic showdown that has captivated the world. Scroll down to the comment section right now and let me know whose side you are on. Are you Team Oprah or Team Eala? The debate is wide open, and we want every single voice to be heard in this important cultural discussion. If you enjoyed this deep, dramatic, and unfiltered dive into the most talked-about drama in the tennis world today, please hit that like button. Subscribe to Champions Tennis so you never miss a single update on the stories that matter most to the fans. Be sure to hit the notification bell right now, because the tennis world never sleeps, and neither do we, my friends.